What's up, everybody? You are very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda. And if you said to me, Craig, put as much mischief together in one group as you possibly can, you're looking at it. Mr. James Redmond, Mr. Paddy Murphy. It's going to be trouble. It's going to be carnage.
This is Home Alone settings. We're here to cause carnage, a little bit of spiciness, and a whole lot of trouble, baby. So be sure to get your seatbelts fastened, get yourself the popcorn or the cup of tea, whatever you use to chill, because we have got a fire show in tune for everyone when it's this trio.
Paddy, I heard you were watching Rocky movies all day, mate, getting ready for this.
I was getting pumped, yeah. Flat out, you know me, I'm a big gym goer, as you can tell, so I'm getting pumped up all day, getting the pump on, so I'm ready for the madness.
We're ready for the madness. Loads to talk about. But look, we can't start off the stream without giving a mention to those who pay the bills. Got to give a shout out to our friends at Manscaped. Christmas is coming. Your balls are getting fat. You know this thing. Bloody blah. Shave them. WFM 20% off. Free shipping. Everything store-wide. Even, I've heard rumour that there's some good sales already on Manscaped, my friend. So get over there, get that loved one, that gift that they don't know that they need yet, but they do. We all have a mate whose balls are a little bit hairy. We see them. We don't want to see them, but they make it their business on the night out. And I have to say, gents, I'm proud. I'm proud of your generation. I'm proud of you youngsters taking care of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Taking care of business down below. Paddy, you recently got yourself a Manscaped set. Do you feel freer? Is that the right word, freer?
I feel freer. I feel fresher. I just feel better.
He feels $1 million, Craig. He feels $1 million.
I'm forever standing in my back garden, just letting the breeze flow between the legs. Do you know what I mean? Just to feel it there, like it makes a world of difference. Absolutely. You too can join this euphoric state by going to manscaped.com and using their discount code WFM20. Right, look, loads to talk about. Big talking point for me today, gents. A lot of this is gonna come around Thiago Alcantara. A lot of people aren't gonna like what we're saying, but look, it's not us that's saying it. Ex-Everton striker Kevin Campbell has claimed that Thiago Alcantara could potentially handed a transfer request, gentlemen, to push through a move back to Barcelona. And no sooner had Xavi Hernandez got his foot in the door than these rumours had started to circulate that Thiago may well be the figurehead, the statesman that Xavi wants to bring in. And look, we'll talk about other potential deals in the making, but on this one, James, what's your gut feeling about this?
So my gut feeling about it is that, one, I don't think Thiago is looking to leave Liverpool. That being said, I can understand why he's not as happy as maybe we all could suggest, because he hasn't played as much as, we'd all have hoped for at this point. And of course, injuries have a massive part to play in that. But even like at the start of the season when Harvey Elliott was playing, but then some would also say, but Klopp was easing them back into the team. We know Klopp isn't someone who just rushes people into the team. And if you can't adapt to the manager, then quite frankly, you don't have the discipline to play for Liverpool. So if this is true, and if there is any substance, then maybe it's best Thiago does leave, because if he can't fit with the manager's ambitions, and I'm saying if, because I believe he understands the manager's ambitions, and he knew what he was coming into when he joined Liverpool. The fact that Fabinho never played when he first joined, Robbo never played when he first joined. He knows that you don't just get given your spot at Liverpool. It's got to be earned, and even sometimes that can go against Klopp, because you see it when Mane's having a poor string of games or Robbo's having a poor string of games, and you see decent backups not really being given the chance. That's where it goes against them. But when it comes to first joining, he doesn't really care about your profile, doesn't care about your pedigree. You've got to earn to wear the liver beard, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way I prefer it. So if Thiago was to join Barcelona, do I think it'd be a good signing? Absolutely. He's a world-class player, he's a winner, not to mention what a Barcelona kind of lack in many aspects is winners at the top level, winning Champions League, winning La Ligas in itself, because I don't know how many La Liga winners they've got on their side. Gerrard, Piqué, Sergio Busquets, now Dani Alves, but in the main, the guys that you're looking towards is Pedri, Ansu Fati, these type of figures, which, you just can't expect them to step up at that level to go ahead and win you major trophies. Thiago is brilliant, and I want it to work out for him at Liverpool. I just think it could be a similar case to Naby, where you don't question the talent, you don't question the ability. It's just, will he get the game time?
Yeah, I mean, Paddy, the actual quote from Kevin Campbell was, obviously Barca is his club. If the legend that is Xavi wants you back to be his dictator, it's hard to turn down. I could see him handing in a transfer request if a concrete move is made. Now, look, it's not out of the realms of possibility, Paddy, the other former Everton players trying to stir a little bit of shit here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, listen, I think this is just I think Kevin Campbell obviously has a bit of a job at the Echo, so he thinks, what I read an article about today. He's seen Xavi getting Dani Alves back and was like, let's just put 2 and 2 together here and make this up. Let me pull it straight out of my arse. It has no substance, and let's be honest. And even if a concrete offer came, Barcelona are paying Dani Alves €1 a week. He's not getting any money. Barcelona have no money. So Thiago is still in his prime. So he's not going to leave to go and play for Buttons. You know what I mean? And listen, I think if Thiago was fit and never had an injury problem, he'd be in Liverpool's midfield 3 every day of the week. So as James said, it's not a question of his ability or his talent. Just a question of his fitness levels. And yeah, I just think it's Kevin Campbell speaking out of his arse, to be honest with you.
It's a great point. Yeah, Paddy, dead quick, that's a great point, because he's not going to get the money that you'd want at this stage of your career. You want to set yourself up financially stable for once you finish football. And also, he's not guaranteed to win trophies. Therefore, why would he move, even though it's his boyhood club?
Yeah, maybe like 10 years.
Up the flagpole, gents, and see if anyone salutes. So there's another article doing the rounds today that, again, backs up that Thiago is wanted by Xavi, but this article suggests that Liverpool could use Thiago as a make-way in a move for Frenkie De Jong. Now, Frenkie De Jong signed for Barca, I think for around 60 million quid. But here's the big sticking point for me in this, gentlemen. Look, we, of course, will talk about Thiago and not wanting to lose him, but £354,000 a week in wages, Paddy, is that's what Frenkie De Jong is believed to be on now. So, you can see how Barca are in a world of pain financially. But he'd have to take a wage cut. There'd be no doubt about that. We ain't paying him that much money.
Well, unless he wants to skim off about 154 of that 384, there's no chance. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a great player. But then again, I'd rather Thiago over De Jong every day of the week, but then you have to think of the fitness and the availability. So do you want a Thiago that plays a couple of games every second few months, or do you want a De Jong that would come in? Well, I think on that sort of money, it's not happening. But then again, Barca, if they could get rid of De Jong, they'd be able to free up a lot of much-needed funds. So it would make sense to offload him, but I don't see De Jong willing to leave on a contract like that.
Here's where I'm going with this, James. For me, I think we have to start having a conversation about midfield because, as you rightly said, the conversation about Thiago is not if he's good enough. We know Thiago is good enough. It is, of course, about not just his fitness minutes, but how we can get him onto the pitch and implement him into the midfield. I think we can make a similar observation around Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He has been fit for, I think, 50 Liverpool games at this point. But nobody, you, me, Paddy, Klopp, nobody knows what his best position is. And then you look at James Milner. Again, very, very, very good player. But getting on towards the end of this season is at the right time. So I think something has to give in midfield, mate. And I don't know who it is or what the answer is. But if we did lose Thiago, you're going to need some top tier player to come in.
Someone like Frenkie De Jong, ideally.
It does make sense. Do you know what I mean? It
makes a lot of sense. The 350 a week doesn't, but if you can pay him 200 to 250, I'm sure that should be able to work in Liverpool's budget. If you want to be the best team in the world, you want to attract the best players, now we're in a world where you're just going to have to pay a sum around 250 grand a week for that calibre of player. I do believe Frenkie De Jong would be an amazing fit for Liverpool, by the way. I do believe he's actually got a lot of qualities that Thiago possesses. He's a lot younger, not to mention he's more reliable in terms of how often he's there. Yeah. I just think, if I could have it my way, I would probably take De Jong over Thiago. That being said, it's a very unrealistic move. Therefore, I want it to work for Thiago. We've tried with Oxlade-Chamberlain. We don't know what his best position is, but where does he play and where does he want to play midfield? Not that he's not good enough there. Again, he's got ability. It's just, is he to be a part of the best three? And one thing I've noticed with Oxlade-Chamberlain is that he doesn't get the consistent run of game, or he needs a consistent run of games to be able to be a part of that front three. You said he's been fit for 50 games. How many of those has he played? And when he goes back into the team, how many games would he play until he gets injured again? Again, it's not reliable. Let's not forget, we bought Oxlade-Chamberlain for £40 million. Thiago was 20. As an asset, as a value, you've got to look at that and you've got to think to yourself, we should have maybe sold Oxlade-Chamberlain in the summer, or we should have tried, because his value's only going to keep going down and down and down. Whereas Thiago, on the other hand, even if we do lose money on Thiago one day, say if he goes for free, 20 million's better than 40. And the be-all and end-all is, I think Thiago's a better player than Oxlade-Chamberlain. I believe even without a consistent run of games, Thiago can do well in a Liverpool shirt. And even though Oxlade-Chamberlain can as well, I think Thiago's harder to replace the talent and the skill that he possesses, opposed to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who brings the engine, he brings the energy. You know, he has a good long-range shot as well, but there is plenty of those type of players. So that's the conclusion that I'd make there. But one thing I will absolutely agree with you, Craig, is that we do seem to overstep the line with how long these players stay in the team. We never tend to sell them at the right time. There's very few cases where we've done that.
First, Paddy, with the Frenkie De Jong thing, I mean, this is the type of behaviour that got Barcelona in trouble in the first place, replacing good younger players with over the hill players, dare I say. Like, what would be the point in getting rid of Frenkie De Jong to bring in Thiago? It's short-term thinking. They brought back Dani Alves, and I have to say, I nearly fell around the floor laughing with the hype, the shite that they tried to spin on the Dani Alves move. Yes, look, no denying the man. I think he's the most decorated footballer currently playing his trade in the world. But he's 38 years of age and he's shite now. Let's be quite frank about it. He's shite. He's brilliant back in the day, one of the greatest ever. But he's 38 years of age, mate. And, you know, his contract was torn up by mutual consent over in Brazil, and now he finds his way back to Barcelona. So on that one, I think, look, it's easy to see why Barca are in trouble. But on the midfield scenario, I think James has opened up a can of worms that I want to keep delving into, because I do think that we're carrying too much excess weight in midfield with regards to, I don't want to say luxury players, but not specialists. I want some specialists.
I agree. The midfield is a really interesting question, Liverpool, right now, because if you look at it on paper, it's fantastic. But then you delve into the paper and you realise most of them are made of paper. You know, you have Naby Keita and Thiago. You know, you have Ox as well. It's just like, who is our midfield best three? You have Fabinho in there.
That's the argument. That's a huge... And do you know what, Paddy? Sorry for cutting across you. It sounds ridiculous, but we don't know it. We don't know what the best midfield trio is. We'll all have our own opinions.
I feel like, for me, the best midfield three, I don't think I've ever played together. In my head, the ideal three for me, and this is harsh on the captain, but I'd love to see a midfield of Fabinho, Thiago and Keita. I have dreams of that midfield three.
I'm kind of somewhere between Fabinho, Keita, Elliott, and Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott, but I don't see how we get Elliott and Henderson into the same team, because I don't like Hendo on the left of the three.
Yeah,
I think this is the way it works. I think Henderson is the utility man that you need in most games, even if you bring him on with half an hour to go and you're winning the game, that's fine. But I think we forget that we don't have to have a best midfield three. You can't see in the dynamic change with the top sides in the Premier League. And let's not forget, we are a top side. We are Liverpool Football Club. We should be in the conversation with Manchester City and Chelsea and stuff like that. You've even seen Chelsea do it. Thomas Tuchel, he takes Kante off sometimes. You don't always have to start your best players, even if they can play every game, like N'Golo Kante, by the way. I'm fine with Henderson being a rotational player, especially with the fact he's going into the age of 30, especially with the fact of how Liverpool and how intense that we play. It would be smarter to rotate the squad, accommodate the manager in his style of play. You can see that players who are not injury prone join the club and then they end up losing their legs. Naby Keita weren't known for getting injuries left, right and centre before joining Liverpool. Until he joins Liverpool, starts doing the training regime, you see what happens. So accommodate the manager. Not only give him players who are more reliable and more fit, but give him options. And then that's where Klopp needs to utilise those options and make the rotations necessary. You know, I want to see, we're playing Porto on Wednesday. I don't want to see Henderson in that midfield, Fabinho, Thiago. I'd much prefer seeing Tyler Morton playing in the holding role with two other players that, Oxlade-Chamberlain and whoever else you want to put there. I think it's important, me and Paddy were talking about it on last night's show, Tsimikas and Robertson. That's a beautiful rivalry, because we all love Robertson, undoubtedly. He's a legend of the football club. Every other fan seems to hate him, which makes us love him even more. But still, your place is not guaranteed. You've got to have competition to push each other. There's games that Tsimikas would be more suited to opposed to Robertson, and not to get into that debate. But the point is that there's games where Henderson could bring to the table that Thiago couldn't. But then there's Thiago, big games like Real Madrid last season, which he never played, where Thiago, that's his bread and butter. So I think it's important we start realising Liverpool, to compete on all fronts, we need to start rotating the squad and using the world-class players that we've got. Because yes, we don't have the best squad depth in the league. Yes, we couldn't make a starting 11 that could get top 4 like Manchester City can. But it's still good enough to rotate. So That's my point of view.
Who would you have, James, right now? If I said everybody's fit, pick 3 players. And look,
Best
I know
3.
different teams against different opposition, but top of your head, who would you like to see in midfield now? I think we're all agreement on Fabinho, by the way. He has to play in the season.
Fabinho's certified, you know what I mean? I don't see a better defensive midfielder in the world. That, you know, and he's a great person. His wife is amazing. She loves the club as well. So, yeah, Fabinho is certified. Thiago would also get in there for me, and Henderson. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to see Harvey Elliott on a regular basis, because there's going to be games where we're going to need a little bit of creativity, a little bit of someone who's going to get at the defence and score goals. There's going to be games where we're playing against low blocks and we're going to need a Naby Keita worldie, which is fine as well. I'm happy to rotate, but if I say a Champions League final, that's the midfield 3 that I'd much prefer to go with.
If we were to carry somebody in the squad who may, as James said, may not play all the time, I think we can afford 1, maybe 2 of those players. So maybe like Henderson, Thiago, but I don't think we can afford a Henderson, Thiago, an Oxlade-Chamberlain, a Milner. No, specialists. I'd have Henderson and Thiago as the 2 that I would allow to carry on and have that. Yeah, exactly. You know, you might get 30 games a season max out of Henderson, Thiago, let's say. I think that's okay. I think, Paddy, there comes a time where you need the mix, you need the balance, you need the experience. And I'm not arsed about whether Henderson plays or doesn't play with regards to the captaincy. I think he's the club captain, and that won't change no matter what.
Yeah, that's a valid point. You're right. We need to maybe free up some of that. I think Ox, for me, I've wanted him to leave for a long time. I feel like he's had his chance.
Can you hear that? Hang on. It's Chris. Yeah, no, Chris is screaming. He's absolutely fuming.
There's only so long you can persist. At the end of the day, he's a decent player. And when we signed him, he done really good for us, and the injury kind of messed him up. But right now, in the way the club is now, we've progressed and he's regressed. I feel like he needs to leave and go back to maybe Southampton or something. Maybe even go back to Arsenal, like maybe, you know, something like that. I still hold out hope for Naby Keita, just because I love him. I think he's so good, but those injuries, fuck me. God, I've never seen a player so blighted by injuries in my life. But
do we think there's that into this Thiago to Barca stuff? Let's park up the Frenkie De Jong conversation for a second. Let's be realistic and talk about Thiago potentially moving back, because I have to be honest with you, my gut feeling is I could understand why there might be something to it. I really could, because, you know, the Barca were linked as well, James, if I'm not mistaken, when we were in for Thiago.
Well, I've just been called by somebody in the chat a chum. Barcelona would be chums if they bought back Thiago, because they don't have the dough. And actually, Thiago would be the chum, because why would you, even though it's boyhood club and stuff like that, you're in the prime of your career, arguably, and yet you'd be going there to be on considerably less money a week, because they can't afford high wages for Thiago. It's not the same Barcelona as 2 years ago, where they were just spending $500,000 on any decent player. And also, he's no guarantee that you're going to win trophies. That is a rebuild job at Barcelona. It's why I don't understand the links with Iniesta and Lionel Messi. It's like, stop trying to do this nostalgic thing. Man United tried doing it with the backroom staff. Look where it got them. It doesn't get you trophies on a consistent basis. It's not something that is sustainable, let's say. I think it would just be chums galore if it was to be... if Thiago was to go there and Barcelona were to make that decision, because I don't think it's what they need. Pedri was starting over Thiago in the Euros. They've got Sergio Busquets, who's one of the most underrated players of all time, and then De Jong, who has basically got the same attributes as Thiago, but he's younger, and you're already committing to such extortionate wages with that player, and you paid a big fee for him. It just wouldn't make sense to me, Craig. And I understand boyhood club. I put myself in them shoes. If I was at, I don't know, Dortmund, for example, and I was 30 in my prime, and then Liverpool came back calling, Steven Gerrard was the manager. Of course, Steven Gerrard, he's my fucking dad, mate. And he said he needed me. That's great, but I've got no Bundesligas, as Thiago's got no Premier Leagues. I've got no Champions Leagues with the new club that I've just joined. I want to go ahead and fulfill a job that I haven't completed yet. Therefore, if you're in this shit and you've got no real direction of winning trophies, I'm even looking at it from a logistical point of view. Why are you buying me?
Yeah.
So that's just me.
That's a good analogy. Yeah. I think Thiago drives me as a person that is very well. Obviously, he's very driven. He's won everywhere he's been. So I feel like he won't want to leave Liverpool empty-handed. He knows there's trophies there to be won, especially this season. I still have I just, you know, before Klopp goes, we're going to win a Champions League and a Premier League. I don't know which seasons we're going to do them, but we're going to win them because it'll be a sin if he doesn't, and he will. So Thiago's going to want to be a part of that. And
we're winning the Champions League this season, Paddy. Did you not get the memo? We're definitely winning the Champions League.
Number 7 is happening. Get ready, start doing this because that's what's going. We need to try and make a number 7 song as well because that number 6 was perfect. Let's talk about 6, baby. Let's talk about LFC. Do you remember when Klopp started banging that out in an interview? That was perfect.
Absolutely. With, what was the guy's name again? We had him on the channel loads of times, and I can't think of his name right now. Norwegian. Jan Agafjordhoff. That's the gentleman. Yes, he was with him, I believe. Here's a bit of sexy. Here's a bit of sexy transfer gossip. Liverpool handed boost in Erling Haaland race. Liverpool have been handed a boost in the reported pursuit of Erling Haaland, with Real Madrid apparently looking to put their focus on getting Kylian Mbappe through the door and, pulling out of the race according to 442 here. So Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, all being mentioned. Look, I don't want to prick tease anybody here, but I can see Paddy's already getting a little bit excited.
It's never gonna happen. Not with FSGs or owners. Like whatever about the transfer fee, it's release clause of 75 million, no brainer, absolutely no brainer. Double that would be a bargain for Erling Haaland. But it's the Mina Raiola factor. It's the money he'd want, the agent fees he'd demand.
I've sorted this. Make Mina Raiola Julian Ward's new assistant.
Yeah,
job done. Do you know what I mean? Job done.
Yeah, job's a good one. Yeah, they should have thought of that. Spot on. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I just don't see. I don't see the club negotiating those extortionate agent fees. Like that'll be a stumbling block. And only the filthy rich oil clubs will be able to stump that up.
Apparently, from everything that I am reading, now to be fair, James, it does look like Mr. Haaland wants to move to the Premier League now. Is that going to be Manchester City finally getting the striker that they didn't get when they didn't replace Aguero? They couldn't get Kane in.
Probably, because Haaland, he's a target man, do you know what I'm saying? And he creates goals with his pace and the fact that he runs in behind, he creates space for himself. He's fantastic at finding space in the box, it's weird. He's probably one of the best in the world at it already, which is just absolutely insane. His numbers speak for themselves. The numbers would translate in a Man City team. So if there was any side that he was going to go to, it would only make sense for it to be Man City. Maybe Chelsea.
I don't want to hate Haaland, though. That's the problem, James. I don't want to hate Haaland. I'm going to hate him.
Even his dad played for Man City, so there's an element of sort of niceness there, like horrible, stuff that makes you kind of throw up a little bit in your mouth, that type of stuff. I wouldn't like it either, Craig, believe me. I wouldn't like to see Man City only go ahead and be strengthened by Haaland. He'd probably stay there for a long time in his career as well. Yeah. So it wouldn't be ideal, and I'd love Liverpool to be in that conversation, but I'm like, Paddy, listen, I would love to be the optimistic Liverpool fan who comes on and be like, fuck off, yeah, we're getting Haaland here, mad baby, we're the greatest club in the world, we're the greatest club of all time, he's going to want to join us, he's from Norway. Is he from Norway? Or Denmark? Yeah. It's one of the two. He's from Norway. Yeah. We've got a big fan base in Norway. So why not? But it's just very unrealistic with the agents, with the wages. And also depends what Haaland wants. Maybe Haaland, from his perspective, will prefer to join Man City. Maybe there's something... Because he seems like a player that thrives off motivation and being first. Imagine if he won them their first Champions League and he scored in the final and stuff like that. There's an ambition there. So I feel like for all them reasons, he'll be up for it.
I nearly got sick there with the thoughts of Manchester
He's
City.
If he signs for City...
They'd dominate. They would dominate.
He'd score easily 35 Premier League goals if he signed for City, man. With the
he could break the record. He could break Salah's record if he joined that side.
Absolutely.
Because that's the thing about Dortmund. There's a reason why Sancho got 20 goals and 20 assists, or nearly that number every single season. It's because Haaland really thrived off his creativity, and we're still seeing goals being scored by Haaland in that team, but that's off the delivery of the likes of Marco Reus, Thorgan Hazard, and stuff like that. If he was in a Man City team where you've got Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, all putting the ball into the box too, even Cancelo. Cancelo's got great delivery. Jack Grealish, don't take the piss.
Oh my God.
They'd have assists galore. They're already a joke. They're already a joke, but they haven't got people who can really put the ball in the back of the net. And people then, I'm even one of those people who think, do they need a target man? But with someone like Haaland who's going to move a lot, he's always going to be an option in that side, and if you just leave him high up the pitch, he's going to guarantee you goals.
I mean, the good thing is, let's say they did sign Haaland, they got to a Champions League final, Pep Guardiola most likely ended up playing him at right back anyway, so when he
Craig,
overthinks the final.
Do you know what? He probably will. Probably will. But someone's just even said it there. 9 goals in 6 league games this season. That was the Anfield Agenda comment. But also, and again, Anfield Agenda, Haaland's had 10 goals in 8 Champions League games last season. Don't forget he was bagging for... I keep forgetting the team that he joined Dortmund from. Same
Salzburg.
team as Minamino. Salzburg. He was banging in the Champions League and then ones in a rather difficult group stage. There was us, there was Porto.
Do you remember Van Dijk had him in his pocket? Do you remember that? The opening seconds of the game, one-on-one sprint, Van Dijk, I got this.
Did Haaland score against us?
Honestly, can't remember.
I think. Not Anfield. I think he scored in Austria.
I think did we not beat them 2-0 in Austria, no? I can't remember, lads. It seems like... I know we beat you 3-2 or something.
Goldfish brain. That being said, if he was to join Man City, let's not forget his Champions League record. That's the type of player that they need if they want to get over the line in the Champions League.
He did score. He scored at Anfield in the home game. Yeah, it was a 4-3 loss. He scored
4-3 loss. Yeah, I was thinking it was one of them.
Look, let's get a bit more realistic then. Karim Adeyemi. So there's been talks today from Inside Football that said Barcelona have consigned themselves to the fact that they won't be able to stick together a €40 million offer in January to get him. And then, of course, there's all the talk about Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and his apparent wants to move to Germany. But at that price tag, James, €40 million, let's say thereabouts for Karim Adeyemi, makes sense. But I think you and I discussed this and both came to the conclusion previously that it's probably the right move for him to go to Germany for his career at this moment, at that age.
Exactly. That's the only reason. Would I take Adeyemi? Yes, because I like to think that Liverpool should start, at least now with the 3 years that Klopp has got left at the club. It'd be ideal if we started building a team under Jurgen Klopp that would be a start. Kind of like the way we built Mane, Salah, Firmino, proper Jurgen Klopp certified ballers. Let's create another one of those sides with Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Adeyemi. Let's build on these youngsters because that's what you really need to be doing. You need to give yourself the best possible chance because to say, if you don't get a good coach when Jurgen Klopp leaves, to have a good team that just kind of has the muscle memory to be there anyway. That's why I'd like Adeyemi, because that's not extortionate. If you're going out to get Haaland, who's a very similar age, you're paying a lot more money. If you go out to get Mbappe, you're paying extortionate. So Adeyemi, we've saw in the past that Jurgen Klopp can turn a player from shit to diamonds, and Adeyemi isn't shit. Do you get what I mean? He's already very, very decent. So if you can just polish that up a little bit, I'm certain he will get goals on our side.
Yeah.
You're not breaking the bank for him. He's not going to be asking for stupid wages. Everything and more just makes sense. He's German. There's the German link there with Jurgen. So I'd like it. But for him, if I was his agent, and I said this to you, Craig, on last week's show, I'd be all over the Dortmund move. You know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Whatever word I'm looking for. He saw what happened with Haaland. He saw how it's progressed with him, and that's the way that you should really be looking at it. It's a club that's going to give you chances. You're going to develop there. It'd be a good shot.
And interestingly enough, actually, Paddy, he'd look at that Dortmund team as well, who seem to be quite unhappy at the minute with Daniel Malen. I read an article the other day suggested Michael Zorc isn't happy with the output. I think is a one goal or 2 goals in 19 games, something like that.
Yeah, and he was, I listen, he's still a young lad, he still might come good, but listen, it just makes sense. But I always wonder why Salzburg, why don't they just sell straight to Leipzig, their partner club? It's a weird one. But, Adeyemi, 40 million, I think it's a no-brainer because, he's a player, I have no doubt he'll go to Germany and, there you go. I was wondering what you were laughing at. I was thinking that myself. Yeah. No, he strikes me as a player that will just go to Germany, hit the ground running. He just seems like he has that just DNA, seems like that will to win. And he's a player that we'll look back at in 5 years' time and he'll have a 100 million price tag and we'll be saying, why didn't we sign? A bit like Haaland now. It was rumours of us signing straight from Salzburg, but we just didn't take the plunge. And we spending 40 million on Adeyemi, and if he flops, he flops. But what's 40 million these days? Harry Maguire was 80, you know what I mean?
World's most expensive defender. Just have to remind everybody in the world about that. Hang on.
Silence to doubters.
Yeah.
All of the United fans in the back are absolutely scratching their ears out. No, there's something that I actually want to jump on there, though, and I actually want to ask you, Craig. Right now, when you look at all the young possible options that we could get at striker, we missed out on Daniel Malen at Dortmund, who's not really doing the greatest. We missed out on, it was to get THIAGO BARCA, but we tried to get Timo Werner as well. It just makes you think to yourself, if we don't get Adeyemi, who's the next option? Because I don't want Vlahovic and, maybe Isaac, but he's going to be a lot of money as well. Like, I feel like Real Sociedad will end up whacking a 70 million price tag. I think for the money, for the age, for the profile of player, Adeyemi seems to be the perfect fit at the moment. And of course, someone new always comes in. But do you agree with Paddy in the sense that, because I do, the fact that Liverpool just seem to miss out on these young players when they can jump on them at a certain stage?
Patson Daka still wrangles me. The fact that Leicester went and got him.
Perfect example, yeah.
Right in the price point, like what was he? What did they pay? 22 million, something like that for Patson Daka. It just seems to me. Look, I'm not convinced, gents, that Liverpool buy a number 9. I'm not convinced of that. I think a Rafinha, a Jared Bowen, I think somebody like that is far more likely for Jurgen Klopp to go out there and buy. And I mean, it's like we talked about Pep Guardiola, and does he or will he replace Aguero with another striker? I don't know if Klopp has the mind for another striker, Paddy. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, we need a midfielder, we need a forward, but what type of forward?
Listen, I think I would just love to see a big bulldozer number 9 at Liverpool. It's been a while, and look what Klopp done at Dortmund at the likes of Lewandowski. There's nothing to say like a big striker like that wouldn't work in a Klopp system, and it just gives us a different outlet against those rugged teams that were struggling to break down. Just lump it into the box with a Trent Cross, find that big fucker's head, and boom, goal. Just something different. I just think it's worth taking the punt. It's something. It's why not? Like, I just think it doesn't hurt. Can
I play devil's avocado with Paddy?
Go on.
Can I play devil's avocado? It doesn't mean that I agree with this. I just want to play a game of devil's avocado. Want to have a little bit of fun. Paddy, do you think that you're just saying that because you've just said it there? You haven't had that in a while. So, kind of like a man who had a wife who is no longer his wife. It's been 5 years and he's getting a bit lonely. It'd be nice to go back there. But it's probably not the best decision. So, it makes you think, do you think we just want the shiny things because it's boss? Or do you think maybe that's clouding our knowledge of would that be the best option for Liverpool to go out and get someone who is just like a bulldozer number 9, as you said?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Maybe there's an element to that, but there's also an element of I just like the idea of having the plan B, something different instead of the little delicate, fast forwards, like just a target man sort of type. I just think it'd be someone that just is a ruthless clinical finisher, yes. That in games where we're drawn with a couple of minutes to go, and we just have like that chance Mane had against West Ham. Someone that would have not missed that chance. I know that was out of character for Sadio Mane, but a number 9 that finishing's in his DNA. Like it's Daniel Sturridge. Remember his finishing? Someone who's just a clinical finisher, like a number 9.
Goal, like that goal against Sevilla in the Europa League final.
You know what I mean?
That was
Greenwood's finishing.
Boys, can I throw a name to the table? Because I want to finish playing devil's avocado, because I actually agree with Paddy. I think we need someone who is ruthless, someone who is going to be there, but I think we need someone who can link up the play. What are we laughing at? Oh,
that's quality.
Finishing his DNA team. Can I throw a name on the table? Ivan Toney. I think if you're going to look at all-round game, if you're going to look at finishing, if you're going to look at link-up play, yeah, I'm going to make you love me now, Craig. If you're going to look at link-up play, if you're going to look at creativity, because Ivan Toney is very much a creative player. I think he's got 3 assists this season, or 4 assists, but he's created a lot of big chances for what is not the finished article of a Brentford team. It just makes me think, you saw what he done against us, you saw the problems he caused Virgil van Dijk. It just makes me think, I think for the Liverpool team, he was a Liverpool fan. He's not going to be extortionate money. He's only like 23, 24, kind of the prime age of what Klopp likes to get for a young player. I think that will fit the profile. Premier League proven, Craig, come on, mate. I'm surely should have sold you by now.
You've sold me. And do you know what else sold me? I seen him, I think it was on someone's podcast, and he was speaking. Your man said to him, if Leeds came in for you and you were going to be playing every single week, or Liverpool came in for you, you weren't sure which one would you go to. And his answer told me everything I needed to know. I'd go to Liverpool because I'd be backing myself to get into the team. And that shows me the man does not lack belief, because Paddy, as much as we might say it, mate, it's going to take somebody with a big set of manscaped balls to get in there and think that he can displace one of those front 3.
Yeah, no, I like it from James, but the only thing I would disagree with is I wouldn't say he is Premier League proven. He's only been in about up till now a couple of months, and I think like it's a great idea, but it's a ballsy move getting a player and making him learn on the job in the top flight. That's the danger with it, in my opinion.
Can I throw back a question at you?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think Adeyemi would be good enough for the Liverpool? Like, would you take Adeyemi? Just yes or no?
Well, I would. Yeah, of course. I'd like that. No, I'd like both of them, but like, I disagree with the proven point. Like, no, there's not obviously Adeyemi's not proven.
I get that. But you know, like the way Adeyemi would be good, and he's in the what league? Salzburg in.
Austrian league.
Right, I would like to suggest that the Championship is of a similar level to the Austrian league, and bear in mind, Toney has got the Championship record in the Championship, so it makes me think to myself, if he got the Championship record last season in the third best team in the Championship, because let's not forget, Brentford finished third, it just makes me think that he's more proven than other options, and that's the way we've got to assess it. Yes, he's not as proven as Haaland, Harry Kane, I don't know, Lukaku, for example. But in terms of what Liverpool can actually get, I'm looking at Toney. Someone corrected me in the chat as well. He's 25 and not 23. He's kind of getting into his prime years. He just hasn't been given that big chance. I'd like to think that maybe Liverpool could be the ones to give him that big chance. And with that mentality, as you've just mentioned, Craig, I'd be all over Toney every day of the fucking week.
I think he'd absolutely relish playing in front of the Kop as well. Not just because he's a Liverpool fan, but he strikes me as the type of person who... And look, I've had my doubts about Toney when his name was first raised, but that performance at Brentford, where he bullied, let's be fair, he bullied our central defenders. He really did. It takes one hell of a player to do that, and he's proved himself so far like a boxer every level along the way, whether it be with Peterborough before he went and signed with Brent. Everywhere he has scored goals, and there's nothing really to suggest that that's going to stop in the Premier League. And imagine him working on the training ground with Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane, and them saying to him, "Where do you want it, son? Do you know what I mean? Where do you want it? Where do you want us to stick this ball for you?" Oh.
But even Toney, say if Toney dropped deep, he's actually got the delivery to be able to find a Salah in behind the defence. I've saw him do it plenty of times in the Championship. Like, I understand it's the Championship and you're going to be given more space, but he's even shown signs in the Premier League. And I think in a team that would dominate possession, get multiple chances, we'd finally have someone in the middle of the box who'd be able to finish the majority of those chances. And then we're not just looking at Mo Salah for goals. We're not just looking at these certain things. We're not seeing Firmino missing chances, Mane, because we finally have someone to put the ball into. And again, his movement is off the charts. You see him on the right wing sometimes. So Jurgen Klopp likes to interchange his front three. I think that's why we've not saw an explosive number 9 like what Liverpool tend to associate themselves with. Robbie Fowler's, Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez. But Luis Suarez, most assists in football history. He's a creative striker. Toney, he hasn't got the dribbling of Luis Suarez or even close. But I mean, he's got an element of creativity where he wouldn't just be a goal poacher. So I think that's why he'd be the perfect option.
I don't mean to name drop here, but I do occasionally keep in contact with Darren McAnthony, who's the Peterborough chairman, and Jack interviewed him on our channel before as well. And, he's a Liverpool fan, Darren, so he's Irish as well. And I like to keep track of Irish people doing well in life. So occasionally I drop him an email back and forth, and he has been singing Ivan Toney's praises, Paddy, as well as, to be fair, Ollie Watkins. He pointed out both the bits of business that Brentford did, bringing these guys in, and he said both of them would be a shout at Liverpool. And I suppose to extend the conversation on a little bit, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no to either of those two, Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney. Ollie Watkins isn't doing as good as he did last season at the minute, but still, I like the look of the kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously Brentford follow that Moneyball approach, don't they, with the investigate the expected goals and all this stuff, so they know what they're at. Yeah, but no, the more we're talking about, the idea of an Ivan Toney is interesting. I think it's like, depending on how much he'd cost, it's like, why
I'm
not?
Convincing you, aren't I, Paddy? Paddy, how about this? Let me confirm it to you.
The toast now.
Listen, Craig, this is what I do. I am not here to take part, I am here to take over. So... how about this, Paddy?
You do ifs, buts, or maybes, mate. I wasn't sure about that.
Only absolutes, fella. Only absolutes. 28 million value, Paddy. How do you like that for that? How do you like that with your breakfast? 28 million value.
Me, yeah. 28 million. No, that's chump change to me, bro. Let's sign
chump change. It's not chump change to FSG, though. It's not chump change to John. It's not chump change to John.
Oh, I gotta go buy the Pittsburgh Penguins instead.
Pick up a penguin. $800 million, something like that.
My vow to live
a little bit less. $600 million. Well, there goes.
Liverpool back there.
Look, on that, can we talk about this for a second, actually? Let's talk about our owners, and we'll finish up. Remind me with 10 or so minutes to go, lads, to talk about the Arsenal game. But to talk about the owners at the minute, so we know they sold it off. We know that they've gone out and they're after buying another, or about to buy another, shall we say, franchise in the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, I mean, I don't see the philosophy here, James, because, Chris said this to me the other night. He spoke about the Manchester City model and the Red Bull model. I understand FSG may be trying to own franchises, sports clubs around the world, but there's no consistency of product. There's not I don't see how this fucking benefits us, basically, is where I'm going with this one. With Manchester City, they've got feeder clubs, they've got all this shit spattered around. They're just buying, they've got Fenway Rouge Racing, they've got the Red Sox, they've got Liverpool, they're going to have the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't see how this helps any of the links of the chain.
It just thinks the only way I think it can work is long term. If they make all their franchises their boss, and all these sports teams that they're buying, like if they end up being the best team, but they're already so far behind that it just makes me think it just seems to be like bucket list type stuff and what's going to improve their bank account, and you think, where's the money not being spent at Liverpool? And now you're seeing investments like this. It just makes you think like you're not realising what the short term success could actually do for FSG, the money that it would bring to them, the less transfers that they'd have to bring, because Liverpool would be such a prospect. Players would take wage cuts to be at Liverpool, young players more specifically. A Haaland would probably bite your hands off to join Liverpool if we're playing, Premier League, Champions League football. If we can sell it in a proper fashion with the likes of Michael Edwards and Julian Ward, you absolutely can. It's just these have had a very limited budget to do it with. If you had a more, if you gave them just a little bit more to work with, a few more players that they could bring in, you don't have to breach financial fair play rules. But we even talked about it the other day. We've got a fair amount of money that we can spend. People underestimate how much you get from winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League. It's a big deal if you win those competitions. So I just think a little bit of short-term success over the long, would actually benefit you more, would allow you in future to make these investments into Penguins and bullshit. To do that, go for it. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? If you like Penguins, Happy Feet and all that business, Happy Feet FC, custy. I'm fine with that. But sort out your realm first. And I like an owner who's the club is their first ambition. I'm not sure if we're FSG's first at the top of their priority list.
And I'll add to that, Paddy, before I come to you, mate. I think James spoke earlier on about new shiny things as well. Your focus, whether you want to admit it or not, will be with the new shiny thing, because you're going to want to put your people in place. You're going to want to, make sure that club continues to thrive and do well. And as much as, they will say all the right things about, putting Julian Ward in and, point to the successes they've had, which they have had. Not, don't want to begrudge them the successes, but at the end of the day, it's another league, it's another sports team that is in a non-relegation, non-promotion, US-based model, which they seem to like, with that guaranteed television revenue and income and no worrying about relegation. And, it just seems to me there's a trend here and none of it matches up with European football.
Yeah, I feel like us as fans can almost overestimate how much they actually care about the club. I think at the end of the day, to be on an end all, we are a number in their bank balance. You know what I mean? As long as that's going up and up and up, I think they're contented. And I feel like FSG and John W. Henry, since the whole Super League stuff, maybe have like a bit of a begrudgery about it now. It's like they really had their heart set on this, as you said, American model of the Super League, and then that's fallen through. Maybe they're almost resentful, and maybe their operation detract themselves. Maybe this Pittsburgh stuff is a part of their next thing. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different ventures they have. I don't see how they can manage them all. So yeah, I think it's this Pittsburgh purchase. People may say we read too much into it, but I feel like it actually is a very negative thing in terms of Liverpool. And yeah, it's worrying. I don't see how they can have the same like love for us now with, as you said, the shiny new toy. I feel like that's where they're going to put all their attention into and money.
We did hear
people throw too much credit to FSG for winning the Champions League and the Premier League and stuff like that. Like, yet they were a part of the process, and yet they deserve credit for appointing Michael Edwards. Yes, they deserve credit for appointing Jurgen Klopp. But it's like
that's where it stops for me, James. The Klopp thing.
But that's where it stops. That was it. And it's like, with a manager like Jurgen Klopp, you shouldn't have one Premier League in 5 years. You should have about 2, 3. And if you have the players to accommodate him in the season where we miss it by a point, maybe we win it. Maybe if you had the players to accommodate Salah when he got taken off in the first Champions League final, maybe we have 2 Champions Leagues. Like, I'm sick of this narrative that Liverpool have got a Premier League and a Champions. Well, we could have more. We could have a League Cup on top of that, an FA Cup, which
James,
Liverpool
I don't want to be talking to my son in 10 years' time and saying to him, Lucas, we won a Champions League, won a Premier League, but you know what, mate? We could have won 4, 5, 6, 7 more trophies. And Paddy,
but that's the conversations you're gonna have.
If it happens, mate, I won't lie. It's a fucking travesty.
Craig, I don't think it's a matter of if. I think we've seen it. We've already underachieved. It makes you debate. Is Liverpool's best team behind them? Because what we achieved in those 2-3 seasons back to back, Champions League final, 97 points, 99 points. That's something that English football has never seen before, besides Man City, who were doing it in the same era. 2 teams pushing each other to the maximum. I believe that we are going to be having these conversations. Is Klopp the only thing people are all believing? Is Klopp the only thing that has the 3 of us sitting here believing? Turns out just the believers.
Because, as you said, James, you said, is Liverpool's best team behind them? I think on that statement, I think it's a very fair one, because I worry about the evolution of Jurgen Klopp's second team, and I worry that he's not going to get the backing, either because we don't have somebody stupid enough to pay an ungodly amount of money for a Coutinho type of player, or I don't see where it's coming from. I don't see how he's going to get the tools to do his job. And Paddy, just to double down on it, if we look back on Jurgen Klopp's tenure at Liverpool, if he leaves in 2024, if the legacy is that 1 4-trophy period, it's not good enough, and it's not going to be because of Klopp.
No, as it stands already now, those trophies are underachieving. I would say even if you add a Premier League and a Champions League to that in the next couple of years, that will only then be meeting what we should have, in my opinion. I don't think it's a case of overachieving. I feel like 2 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions Leagues with what we done in those periods and performances, it'd be what we deserve. And I feel like, that wouldn't be too much to ask for. I feel like that's what we should be looking to do. But then again, we have to remember that 97-point season. Geez, what are the chances? That is such an anomaly. But for sure, there's no guarantees Klopp is going to be able to miraculously build that second squad. I don't know, because FSG might not be willing to fund it, and there's no chance to say Klopp is get as lucky to find them. But I think we just have to enjoy the squad we have now, and once we can squeeze out that 1 or 2 more trophies, then I'll be happy. But I have doubts going forward. We have a transition period to come, and that's a question for another day. That's why with Gerrard going to Villa, and if he can do well and earn the job, I think he's the man to take over, and then that would be a nice transition period.
Here's a nice transition question. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, mate. Who do you think will be the biggest club in Europe, England in the next 10 years? Let's touch on this, and then we'll finish up with the Arsenal game. So, biggest
club, or no team's going to overtake Liverpool and Man United in the next 10 years, but if you're in the best club at that time,
if you're talking about the most successful club in the next 10-year spell, I think that's what he's asking. Who's going to win the most Champions Leagues in the next 10 years?
Well, then
I think Man City. Man City.
Man City.
If you're talking about what you're getting given
win the
now,
Champions League, they're never going to win. I'm saying it. I've said it for years. I'm living in denial, lads. I'm living in denial. They're never winning a Champions League.
Craig, let's talk about this. All right, from a
friend. They're never doing it, James. Don't do it to me, James.
No, I know.
They're not doing it.
Come on, Craig. I'm giving you the soldier massage while I'm saying this. Okay, Craig, relax. It's fine. But let's be real. They have got dough.
They've dough.
Can I emphasize? Dough. Serious dough. I know. Craig, don't be throwing your toys out the pram. It's not right. You've got to just accept it sometimes. They're going to win a Champions League, and it's probably going to come soon.
I refuse to think of all big ears sitting there in the empty head, all lonely. You know what I mean?
That's all they need as well.
He should be there.
He'll be
with
like Donkey from Shrek. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me.
I don't think it'd be Guardiola. I think he missed his chance last summer.
But it's going to be City.
Yeah, City will win in the next 5 years anyway.
I think in the next 10 years, City will win 3 Champions Leagues.
Oh.
Them all Real Madrid. They'll be the most successful team.
Craig doesn't like that.
But he asked English, so... I know.
Did you hear my heart breaking? Can you fucking hear it, James? Can you?
I hear it crunching, but Craig, I'm a realist, and it's just one of those things. As much as I like to jump on here, and I'll have me moments like the Mane and stuff. that's when we were getting 97 and 99 points. Like, this is we're off the back of a West Ham defeat. Maybe if we win a few games, I'll say Liverpool.
So you're going with Manchester City then, Paddy?
Yeah, definitely. Better than Man United.
Mr. Cornflakes Pisser over there has gone for Manchester City, and I won't sleep for a week now. But
I am a fart.
We move.
I am a fart, but I am an honest fart.
You are, sir. You are.
And in the next 10 years, all I'm looking for is a Liverpool Premier League title under the stewardship of Steven Gerrard. That will make my life. Seeing Steven Gerrard in Anfield with the Premier League title.
Winning it at Stamford Bridge as well, mate.
Oh, yeah. Because no matter what anyone says, but he never won it as a player. It doesn't matter. If he wins as a manager, he's won the fucking Premier League. And
if anything, that's more impressive.
Yeah, he'd be a better midfielder than Lampard. He'd be a better manager than Lampard.
Oh, yeah.
Name one player. Name one player who's won a Premier League with their team. Win a Premier League with their as a manager, with their team as a player. Win a Premier League with their team as a club. Not many.
Yeah, I think the closest I can think is Champions League. Maybe
Ollie won't be fucking doing that anyway.
Did Guardiola do it as a player? No, I don't think he did that at Barca, but no. No, I think I've seen that Gerrard done an interview. Is like, do you think if you didn't slip against Chelsea, do you often wonder would you still be manager if that didn't happen? And he said, I do wonder. I don't think he would have had the drive to do it if he had won the Premier League that season. I feel like the whole slip stuff has driven him to be a manager, and he has that will to win and that winner's mentality. And I have a no-brainer. He's gonna do well. And yeah, listen, I think City over the next 10 years will be the most successful English club without question. I just think the money is undeniable. They're funded by a country, and unless that country magically gets nuked off the face of the earth, they just will have that for good.
I think Alejandro makes a very good point here, and not just because I like saying the name Alejandro. So James is right. Madrid will have a new stadium in some time. A squad with Mbappe, Camavinga, Pogba. Well, you can fuck Pogba right off because he's washed. City will make a breakthrough at some point, and once they do, we'll fetch more. I do, yeah. Look, it's a fair point. I mean, they do have the Bernabeu that they're redoing. They haven't yet stepped away from the Super League. It looks like they're going to try and push that through. There was an article last week that said Mr. Tabas, who's the La Liga president, said that Barca, Real, Juventus are still going to forge ahead with somewhat of the Super League. And that, I suppose, leads me full circle into asking you guys, do you think that FSG will agree to this veto that we spoke about last week, whereas the representatives of the Liverpool fan base are asking the club to basically give them a veto so they can say no if the club try to sign back up to the Super League. I know they've signed something with the Premier League, I think, about €100 million fine or something like that, if they're to try and do it. But do you think the club will actually give them this power, Paddy, or do you think we're in for another surprise from FSG and they will actually lean back towards where the money could potentially be?
I don't think they'll. I hope they never try the Super League again, but I doubt they'll ever give the fans that sort of power. I think they're too smart with their money. They're too much of a business to do that. To give anyone a voice that's not putting funds in, that they don't care about the fans' voice. It's all about what they think. If they want to go for it again, they will, but they will be run out of the club. So it's one of those. I pray the Super League never happens. That would have been. It's just an alien concept. It would ruin the whole idea of football for me. Football is the Premier League and the Champions League, and then whatever about, and obviously international football as well. But yeah, I don't think FSG would ever dream of giving the fans that power. But I also don't think they'd dream of going back to the Super League, because if they did, they'd be run out of the club. Like,
James, what you saying?
Couldn't agree more, lads. Absolutely couldn't agree more with everything that Paddy's just said. It just makes me think to myself, if it happens, it'd be very unusual. It's not what I fell in love with football about, because I don't like sports, just because of, the fact they play football, and just because, I like UFC as well. I don't like MMA just because it's two people fighting each other. I like many more aspects. I like the sportsmanship behind it. I like the history behind it. When someone wins a UFC championship, and let's say they're the first person from their country to do so, there's something about that. The first team to win the Super League, I wouldn't care. Proper would not care. And it's just there's many other teams, even when you see teams like Sheriff coming into the Champions League and causing teams like Inter Milan and Real Madrid, European fucking giants, a problem. There's just loads beautiful about that. Even when we get knocked out of the League Cup or FA Cup by a foot. Do you remember when we played because I went to this game, Plymouth, years ago? We drew against them at Anfield, and their fans, oh my God, they were amazing. And do you know what? Even though I hated that day because we drew with fucking Plymouth and it meant we had to play an FA Cup replay, It was just, that's what football's about. It's them fuck you moments. And
Yeah.
with the fact we've supported a team like Liverpool, an underdog team in many, many rights, we've had a lot of those fuck you moments. And, 4-0, losing 3-0 in the first leg to Barcelona and coming back in the second leg to beat them 4-0. In the Super League, it doesn't hold the same prestige because we're all being given money. We've all got the best players. It's just a superstar league. There's no real element of competition. You can't get relegated. You can't get punished for poor performances, and that's why football is so great. So no, I couldn't agree more with everything that Paddy's just said, to be honest.
I think the only thing I'd add to that, and I will let Paddy come back in a sec, is that the point that really rammed it home to me, apart from the kind of relegation, I don't like looking back to historic club. We don't know in 10 years' time who the big six are going to be in England, who the top four are going to be in England. You wouldn't have had these beautiful stories like Leicester City. We wouldn't have right now, let's say, West Ham. Nobody would have told you, even 2 years ago, a West Ham would be sitting right now in third place in the Premier League as an example. So we can close off shop because it stops these beautiful stories from happening. And that's the joy of football for me. So, Paddy, go on anyway.
No, it was just funny when James mentioned like the whole Plymouth stuff. I think it was like 2006 with Xabi Alonso and the boys. We had to come from behind twice, I think, against Havant and Waterlooville. That's a name that always sticks in my head when it comes to FA Cup shocks and stuff. So that little stuff and all that. And don't get me wrong.
Xabi's goal against Luton Town as well.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The idea of the Super League, I thought it was a fun idea. Before I knew it was in replace of like the Premier League and the Champions League. Now that is fucking batshit crazy. However, if you were to say there was a weird way of getting rid of the League Cup and the FA Cup, I'd be for it for a little bit. I don't really give a shit about them too. I know, I
couldn't even get rid of them.
I love the League Cup.
And the FA Cup, but there's something beautiful about when a fifth tier team, the FA Cup more specifically, because when a non-league team can come ahead and play Arsenal in a quarter-final, that's beautiful. That's beautiful to me. I just think, you've got a very small fan base, it's a proper day out, it's a big deal, and they're the moments in football. You get your own little victories, don't you? For some people, it's top four. For some people,
nice as well for
the
smaller teams to know that whoever is the smallest team that gets through in the draw will be drawn against Manchester City. I mean, that's a nice aspect to it as well. You always have that to look forward to. Gents, are we all right to go 5 minutes over? Is that all right?
Let's go. There's actually one. We'll talk about Arsenal.
1 second.
Yeah, hang on. I'll have the email open, Paddy, just to see. I want to talk about the Arsenal game, and I want to start off by telling you my 11 and picking it apart there and see what you think and how many we'll win by. So I will go, obviously, Alisson, Trent, Costas, Van Dijk and Matip, Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson if he's fit. But my big shock is going to be coming up front because I go Mane, Origi and Mohamed Salah for this game. And I never fucking thought I'd be sitting here, championing the cause for Divock Origi to start the game. But I think he'll do a job. And I think that goal against West Ham for me was... we're seeing a Divock Origi who has the bit between his teeth at the minute. And I got to put my hands up when I'm wrong. And I've been wrong about Origi because last year he just did not look interested to me. But that's my team anyway, so work away.
Can I jump in? I'm someone who's always been a rather, not an over-excessive fan about Divock Origi just because of his history. I'm not someone who just loves Divock because of what he's done for Liverpool. Of course, I admire the man for it, and if I ever seen him, I'd kiss the feet where he stands. That being said... It's not that reason. I actually believe there's a good player there. Someone who, if you gave a consistent run of games, we're looking at the possibility of Origi doesn't get absolutely rattled by Funes Mori in the derby a few years back. We're looking at him as our number 9 striker. That explosive number 9 that Paddy was talking about before. I just think to myself, I'd love to see Origi get given a chance. And I'm not saying he's better than Jota, but when he's played, he's had bigger moments than Jota in a much shorter time, of course. That being said, I think he can do a job in games against all level of opposition, whether it's in the League Cup. Even this season, he's brought a little element of creativity to his game. Thought he was creative against AC Milan. Thought he was creative against Norwich. Then again against Preston. I thought he was more quiet against Preston, but I think that was more of an overall team performance, not playing so well. If he was to play in a team that dominates possession week in, week out, creates the chances for him, I think he's the most... I know people are going to really disagree with me when I say this and they won't understand it. Maybe it's different with the new version that we're getting of Salah, but I have always said for the past few seasons at least, if you give all of our attackers 100 chances, I think Origi scores the most. That's just me, though. I think that's just me. And that's why I've always liked the prospect and the idea of giving Origi a shot. Would I do it in a game like this, against Arsenal, where they're finding a little bit of form, and change it so soon? No. But would I give him a chance sooner rather than later? Absolutely, to be honest with you, Craig. I'd be on that notion.
For me, he played for Belgium, got some minutes in his legs, came off with a dead leg. But I'm seeing an opportunity, Paddy, if we played him against Arsenal, played him then again on Wednesday against Porto. That's a little bit of rhythm. That's a little bit of a run for Divock. And I also want to wrap Diogo Jota and Bobby Firmino up in cotton wool. I know Firmino's out with a hamstring, but I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to take a chance on Jota as well. And I think through the centre, I think Bobby could do a job. But I absolutely, of course, appreciate other people's views.
I feel like I agree with them. What I want to see, like, listen, Origi has given us some of the best moments under the Klopp era, and not even just the Champions League goal. Remember the goal against Dortmund in that semi-final, the Everton last. He's given us so many moments. But I think it's very Manscaped big ball move to put him in against Arsenal.
WFM20, by the way.
Yeah, indeed. It's like that's very bold, as the Portuguese guy on TikTok says. You've gone bold, no mensch. It's just I don't know. Portugal, yeah, brilliant. Fuck, Portugal are shy. Come on, Serbia. I was going to say, hold on, I'm fucking sidetracked here. Arsenal are in a good vein of form, and it's a bold move that I would hope would work out. But I don't know. I don't think it's a nice idea, but I just don't think Klopp is going to go bold. And he's going to stick with Jota, to be honest. I think it's just that Arsenal game worries me. I think we should beat them, but they're looking a lot better than they were a couple of months ago.
They haven't got those shit players. They haven't got the shy Craig, but they haven't got those shit players in the team no more. So like David Luiz, Hector Bellerin, like near enough every position they've got a sound player. No one who's world class with Toney. Like the back fours look solid. Ramsdale hasn't made any mistakes. Partey should be fit for this game, which will make their midfield remotely solid. The attack, Saka, Smith Rowe's on form. I just think to myself, it is a better opposition than what we've came up against in recent seasons.
But it's Arsenal, so.
But it's Arsenal. You're right. No, you are.
At the end of the day, I think we should be looking to turn them over. They've got 20 points, was it 20 from 24? 20 from 24 in their last 8 games. So they've done well. You got to give Mikel Arteta credit, but I can't see anything. I've gone big, by the way. I've gone for a 4-1 Liverpool win on Saturday evening. I think our boys are going to make a statement. I think Mohamed Salah is going to be licking his lips at the thoughts of getting rid of this, what would be a drought for him if he went 3 games without scoring. And I think we absolutely tear them apart at 5:30 on Saturday evening. Excuse me.
I hope so. I really do hope so. But I know I don't agree with the 4-1. I think we'll win, but I think it'll be tight. I think 2-1. I hope you're right, but we've been what I'm going to say. Dodgy, like.
We have been a bit dodgy, but listen, if there's any team that's going to be able to save us a few points when we've been in a bit of a dodgy bit of form, it's Arsenal Football Club. I believe we're going to win. I do not care if it's 4-1 or if it's 1-0 and it's scrapey. I just want 3 points under the lights at Anfield. I'm going to be there, so I want to make sure that we defo win. I don't think I've seen us lose this season. We haven't lost at Anfield this season, have we? So no. The last time I've seen us lose at Anfield was Palace.
Chelsea, by the way. I expect Chelsea to smash
fucking
Leicester.
Dickheads.
Here's an image for you. Both of you guys got to be doing some little videos post-match on Saturday for various reasons, and some for us, some for your own stuff, but whatever. But you don't want to be recording those videos, gents, knowing that Arsenal have gone above us in the league table. Imagine a world where your Saturday night consists of being on social media, listening to Arsenal fans telling you to pick up. I can't
when that 5 to 8 minute reaction comes out on the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel of myself and also of Paddy, I would much rather be laughing at those Arsenal fans that I have been so bantering for seasons, opposed to getting bantered for the fact that they're above me. I've got a mod on my channel called Danny Slater. He's a knobhead. He always talks about how good Saka is, and Emile Smith Rowe. It's just dead annoying. So if I have to put up with him in my chat on a consistent basis, talking about, because I won't hear the end of it until we play them next, that will be devastating. So believe me, this is not a must win. It's an only win. Only win.
There you go. And score prediction? Paddy went 2-1, I think. I remember hearing Paddy's 2.
I am going to say a cheeky little, probably, I will say 2-0, 2-1, 2-1.
I'm liking the one coming in there. Two one.
I don't know, lads. You make me nervous with these 2-1s. I want the hiding. I want to go out there and absolutely.
So do I.
No, it's just one of those games, though, isn't it, Paddy?
I want to make Arteta cry on the sideline and make his hair dye run, but I don't.
Arteta notoriously has gave us a decent game.
Oh God. And he bet. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Craig's having none of this.
James, in one stream here, you've made me think about Arsenal being ahead of us in the league table, Manchester City dominating Europe for the next 10 years, and no Jude Bellingham mention whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure they bet us 3 times under Arteta. Community Shield, League Cup, or no, they bet us like 2 or 3 times, I think, under Arteta, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But we're gonna win. We're gonna win. W's only.
And that's with a lesser team.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win, lads. We're gonna win.
There's so many Arsenal fans chatting shit on TikTok. I can't be arsed with that if that happens.
Paddy,
it feels like that we're about to play. Do you know what? Do you know, like the way we're talking about that we're going to get this win because of the energy at the end of the stream? It feels like we're about to do that final Squid Game test, you know, where they walk over the glass. And it's like, yeah, we'll be fine. But you just don't know, do you? Because you don't know what one you're going to stand on. I don't think... I'm 99% sure we're not going to lose. That's what I will say.
A draw is not good.
A draw is a lose. A draw is a loss. But like I'm 99%.
Dare I say, if we don't win this game, we can kiss goodbye to the title race.
No.
No.
No. I don't even have an explanation. Just no. Like nah. I'm not willing to give up this soon.
If Chelsea pick up a win, I think that's another worry I have.
No. I think Chelsea are going to smash
the
defo going to win. You just drew against Burnley. The defo going to smash Brendan Rodgers in a very average Leicester at the moment. They're so going to batter them. Who is City playing? Wait there before we end the stream. I need to know, right, Man City.
By the way, I can absolutely see a world where I would have gotten involved in that Squid Game thing, by the way, because I've owed enough money in my days to take up a few of them wagers, Paddy. No.
Don't worry. Craig, I'm right there with you. I could do with a few quid now, I tell you.
It's not Norwich. Don't say Norwich to me, mate.
It's not Norwich. It's kind of just as bad. Everton. Everton the ton.
I fancy the Ev to get a draw.
Stop
it,
Paddy.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, no. If Calvert-Lewin was there, I'd always give them a hope, but...
Fuck that shit. Well, he ain't there, baby. They are so gonna get fucked. Fuck. That's not ideal.
Not a good kind of fucked either.
No, like, we're not talking about getting Rams. We're talking about getting, like, annihilated in a bad way.
Hopefully we don't get Ramsdale. Ooh,
he's been good.
Right, I'm going to go off and cry, lads. I don't know what else to say to you. It was great.
If we lose to Arsenal, I'm going into hiding, lads.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to live in a world where they lose to Arsenal.
Arsenal are the most toxic fan base on Twitter, and the most deluded as well.
Man United are just as bad, like, but I hear what you're saying.
Oh, the deluded, 100%. Like, I've some shout out to Claude Nabances, by the way, your friends of mine as well. There's some lovely Arsenal fans out there, but yeah, they do love a meltdown, and they are a little bit deluded, all right.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the Premier League's fan bases aren't coming to Anfield Agenda to laugh at us, basically. I hope.
Do you know what's mad?
You know.
Do you know what's mad? The fact that, like, previous seasons, you could back Everton to get a result against City because notoriously they can actually get a draw against them. And then even Leicester against Chelsea, notoriously you could give Leicester a chance. But just with the fact that them two teams are so on fire and it's just a matter of time before City kick into form.
Should we do quickfire predictions?
Yeah, go on, real quick.
All right. Chelsea to beat Leicester, Palace to beat Burnley, Watford United draw, Norwich to beat Southampton. Bold. Everton Man City draw. Newcastle to win. Villa to win. Wolves to West Ham to win. Liverpool to win, and Tottenham Leeds to draw.
Here's my fire round.
Put a tenner on that and win nothing.
I'm gonna go with fair play. Right, I'm gonna do it so you can see my face as well. I'm gonna go with Chelsea to win, Palace to win, United to draw because I think Watford will give them a game. Southampton to win, Man City to kill, Brentford, Aston Villa, Steven Gerrard's debut, West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham.
I'm going to go Chelsea draw in the Burnley Palace game, United to get the best of Watford. They have to beat somebody at some point. I'm going to go for a draw. Dean Smith's first game, I think, in Norwich, isn't it? So I'm going to go for draw there. Look, City are going to violate Everton. Then I think a draw, Newcastle, Brentford, Villa to win. Do you know what? I kind of want West Ham to win because I don't mind them being in the top 4. I just don't like them being ahead of us. So I'm hoping I hope for a draw so we can maybe go ahead. And we're going to absolutely violate Arsenal. And
we've actually got to watch close to the West Ham game.
Spurs.
Yeah,
we've got to watch close to that West Ham game. I'm now worrying about West Ham for fuck's sake.
And it's a testament to how good they're doing rather than West Ham.
Look, full credit to them. Yeah, no, they've done really well. They really have.
Yeah, but still, they can fuck off.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. Everybody can fuck off. If they can take 4th spot and push United out, that's sound. We're all on board that train. But finishing above us, they've some cheek. We'll go by Jared Bowen out of spite. That's what I mean. Just because.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's been lots of fun, ladies and gentlemen. I've gone through the full range of emotions here tonight. Happiness, despair. James has put me through the full range of emotions. It's been fun. Look, have a cracking. What day of the week is it, lads?
It is a Thursday, I believe.
Thursday. Have a cracking Thursday evening, everybody. I will be back tomorrow. James will be doing a live gig tomorrow on Anfield Agenda, 8:45. James will be doing a half-hour show solo. I'll be on early doors at 6 o'clock, and we'll have everybody involved at some point on Saturday for the game as well. But look, thank you to Mr. James Redmond. Thank you to Mr. Paddy Murphy. Thank you to me. Thank you to you guys for watching. And thank you to Manscaped. WFM20 for 20% off and free shipping. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.